you have to know this trick for creating reggaeton beats. Hola amigos and welcome back to yet another video, and in this video I'm going to create a reggaeton beat from scratch using my new URBANO Producer Bundle. So this is the bundle which I've just released, including my newest sounds, samples, midis, everything you need for creating amazing reggaeton beats. So when creating this beat I'm going to guide you through this new sample pack. And I also want to let you guys know there is also a free version of this producer bundle, which is called the URBANO Producer Bundle. You can download it for free, the link will be in the description, and I hope you enjoy this video. So I'm going to create a more up-tempo reggaeton beat, so let's say we pick 104 BPM. And while you open up the URBANO Producer Bundle, I've included some bass shots, which are very easy to use when it comes to, for example, creating a bass line. And then I've included 45 bassline midis, which again include everything you need. I've of course designed a new drum kit and the drums sound literally insane. It sounds so good. Then I've added 20 drum loops if you're just starting out, for example, or you just want to create something very quickly. Highly recommend using those drum loops. Then I've added some guitar loops, which again sound amazing, and I've added 102 guitar loops. Very simple guitar loops, something like this one, but so easy to add to your beat just as an extra layer. You're just adding an extra dimension to the beat. So I've also included the simple edited loops and the dry loops, if you want to flip the sample yourself. I've also added this melody MIDI kit, where I've added, for example, 15 ARPs, 36 chord progressions, some melodies, so 53 amazing melodies. And again, it's just very easy to add them to the project, make some tweaks to the melodies, adjust them to the key of your project, just pick a perfect sample and you're just ready to go. And of course, using those melody midis, I've also added, for example, those one-shots. So for example, if you do not own a guitar preset, I've also sampled some amazing guitars, like this one. And you could simply use the MIDI file and just use this guitar one shot and create a new melody yourself. Or for example, a flute, which is often used in those reggaeton beats. This one. Just so easy to use. Of course, I've added some more percussion loops. So some simple percussion loops, for example, like this one. But also some typical tiny reverbed percussion loops. And the most amazing thing of this producer bundle are the bass one-shots. So I've used this analog synthesizer, the Mini Brute 2 from Arturia, and I've created those bass one-shots myself. So using this hardware synthesizer. So these are not software synthesized basses. So some really deep basses which contain a lot more low frequencies. So everything you need when it comes to adding amazing bass lines. And I'm also going to use those in this video. So let's get started. So first we're going to start off with a random preset. So when it comes to creating reggaeton beats, I really like to use the Anna 2 from Slate Digital, which contains some ready to use presets. So this sounds like an ambient guitar, sounds really weird, but let's get started. So I'm creating this beat, let's say in A minor. So just the A minor natural scale. So I want to create a dark top melody. So I'm going to start at F and then pick the one note down beneath, which is E. And then we're going to do exactly the same. So copy them over until those again fit within those two white highlighted notes. Easy trick how to create insanely simple but dark melodies. And then copy them over because in this case I'm going to create 8-bar melodies. So then just duplicate it. And let's say we use another layer from Anna 2. And I want to use some simple keys underneath it. So I found this amazing preset, but still it's looping somehow. So right now let's add a simple chord progression. So we start off at A. So this is the first chord progression. And then we play it one octave down. So this is just a basic minor chord, which is A, C. And in most of the case will be D, but we're gonna just add this one. And then we just extend it so it lasts for 4 bars. So just copy it over. And then let's create something which goes downwards. So move this one down one note. And this also. So this is the second chord. And then we want to add some root notes. So we simply follow again these notes from the chord progression, which again are the root notes. So we have this chord. and this chord. And then I want to create something in the root notes which goes downwards. And then make sure this one fits the skew. Let's say we add a G. And then we're basically going or reversing to this one. C, B, and let's say we adjust this one to D. So this is our main chord progression. Very, very slow, chilled. I don't like that ticking sound from the flute. We're going to remove that in a second. So we're going to link those two to the mixer. So I've added some effects to both of the elements. So some distortion, saturation, and EQ. For example, this amazing reverb plate from Arturia, and then widening up the reverb, so using this button. And of course the kickstart too to add some sidechain. And then I basically added some reverb to the keys. And again, a sidechain. So let's have a listen. Adding a lot more energy, for example, to the flute by adding those simple melodies. Sounds really dark and not that common. Exactly the goal which I wanted to achieve. So right now, let's add a bass line. So let's say we use a bass line from the kit. So let's say we use this one. And right now I'm going to show you how simple it is how to use those samples or those one-shots. So simply create a volume envelope. So it's all the same in every DAW. And then we're going to add a little bit of release. So when the sample stops, it basically has a time to come down to 0. So we prevent any ticking or popping sounds when using this. But again, that's still a very simple and commonly used production technique. So right now, let's just simply draw in the root notes and then make sure it fits the key of the sample. Just has a little bit of an envelope when I exported it. So simply tweak it. Simply playing around with the sample like this. Right now, let's add a more unique element. So I want to use an element which I don't use that often. So let's say we use for fifth set, this one. So I found this crunch knee lead. And let's say we reduce the delay a little bit. So it was too much. So right now, let's draw it in. I'm going to create a simple melody. Again, use this scheme. So this one. Copy it over again. And now it sounds way too dry, but I think it sounds really cool. I think it already sounds like a guitar because it's so distorted. So we're gonna just name it guitar. And let's say we also add a kickstart, just at the default settings. And let's add some reverb. Remove a little bit of the low frequencies, 500 Hertz. Exactly what I'm looking for. So right now it's time to add the main elements. So those are more the accents of the beat. So right now we want to make sure we add a brass, which is again getting all the attention. So this element has to contain a lot of energy. So again, let's use the NAD2. So in the brass presets, I found this one. So we just have to use the chord progression. Let's say we start off again right here. So for me, it's the most logic way how to start off creating a melody like this. Then just copy it over and then just look at any mismatches. So for example, this one and also this one. So this is the second part. And then I feel like I have to switch it up. So again, we follow the root notes, but we're gonna make some adjustments to this one. So let's say instead of using F, we use, and again, as you can see right now, it should fit the scale. Still sounds off somehow. So I want to pitch this one up. So we have C, F, and on G. And And then let's copy over this one because we're basically reversing again to the same chord. Goes perfect together. So again, for this brass, to add some more wave to this one, we're gonna again add some side chaining, which is again oftenly used in reggaeton. And also make sure in the end it sounds just way much better because the kick is taking a lot of room in these beats. And by adding a side chain, you could also, for example, use a band side chain. So the sound ducks between this frequency only. So I would say, so we set it to 5K. So again, those are the basic elements of the beat. So I think right now it's still missing one element. So let's say we use something unique. So let's say we use the Prophet 5V. Gleaming keys, the second preset. Okay. And then let's say we copy just these notes and then just copy it over into this one. And let's say we shorten them to, let's say, half a step. I think right now it sounds way too low and I'm not sure about the position of this one. So let's say we add it right here. For now it still sounds horrible, so we have to add some effects. So we add some reverb and then we add the kickstart 2, both let's say on the fold. And then we add some, let's say, chorus dimension D to widen up and soften this lead because I think it sounds way too harsh for just a small detail within the melody. Very ambient. Oh. A lot is going on right now. We're gonna separate the layers. So I think when it comes to the melodies, this is it. We've added enough layers to create an interesting arrangement, but still keep it simple because in most of those reggaeton beats, there is not a lot going on. And by creating a lot of layers like this, it's in the end really easy to create an interesting arrangement. So now let's move on with the next layer or next element, which is the, let's say we add some drums. So we start off by enabling just the keys and the brass, and then we're gonna open up the drum kit. And let's say we pick some amazing drums, so I've included some really cool drums in this kit. All already mixed, leveled, just ready to use. So let's use this one, kick 4. From the beginning of the pack, this one. Then just simply draw it in. And of course, make sure to draw it in at this one at 78% velocity. So on this level, I've pre-mixed all those layers, so nothing is clipping, everything sounds just fine. And then we're gonna add a snare. I want a snare which contains more mid-frequency, so let's say we add this one. So this will be our rhythm. So just copy it over. And then I want the first snare to not overlap with the kick. So again, this is a simple mixing trick, but in the end makes a huge difference. So again, we create a square, then we add a little bit of release. That's it when creating this rhythm, very, very simple. And again, it's just this basic rhythm, which is used in most of those reggaeton beats. And let's say we add a simple second layer. So I think in this case, we have to add a head. Let's add this one. And then we're gonna add a roll right here, so this. So select tools, and then let's select the time mode. So I think this one was already fine. So that's it, and then let's adjust the pitch. So let's say we pitch it to A and this one to F, and then play around with the velocity. So again, we're keeping it very, very simple. So these heads are a very organic layer to the drum loop, add some texture, and just make it a little bit more interesting. As you can see right now, the snare and kick are at the exact same level, and then let's adjust the level of the heads. Not too loud. So that's why it's so simple to create a reggaeton beat using those pre-mixed elements. And then one of the final elements is the bass line. So again, you don't have to use a synthesizer. I've just created some unique bass one-shots. So let's pick one. So let's pick this one. And then again, at the same volume track I've already used. So create a square. You could also say cut itself, this one right here. But I recommend you just create an envelope manually. And then we're just gonna follow the root notes. So again, we're following the exact same rhythm. So copy this one over, again, reuse, again, base it on the root notes. So this is the final bass line, but before I'm going to show to you, I'm going to show you how to mix it properly with the kick. So link it to the mixer, and then we're going to say kick and the bass. And then we're going to select the kick, press right mouse button, and then select sidechain to this track. Then select the bass again, and then we're going to select the kickstart 2. Then we're going to open up the settings again, processing, and then we select sidechain L, so sidechain R, and then we add the kick 4. This one. Then you could enable the band frequency. So let's say we leave it at 500 Hertz. And then we're going to select the high chain. And then just listen and just adjust it until it's not colliding with the kick. So you don't directly hear it, but it's still there. That's the key. And then just adjust this one to, let's say, 80%. So we want the kick to be louder than the bass. So again, this is a simple technique how to make sure your kick and bass sound really clean and go very, very well together. And then we want to separate all the layers. So select pattern 1 and then select split by channel and then just drag in all these elements. And let's start off with this basic arrangement. So I'm going to make a lot of tweaks to this arrangement later on. But first I want to start off with this one and the keys. And I will convert into this one. And maybe make this one unique and then maybe pitch it up 1 octave. So we create an interesting transition. Oh. This one is just too much, the guitar. So I want to add a drum loop to this part. So I'm gonna add a percussion loop. So let's say we use this one. And then just basically drag it into the arrangement so it already stretches to the tempo of the project. And then let's link it to the mixer because I don't like the amount of high frequencies. So we're gonna add a simple EQ, use a high cut. Exactly what I'm looking for. So in this case, the low frequencies are not matching this part of the beat. And let's add some texture to the intro. So again, in the one shots, I've also added the texture folder. Again, those textures are often used in reggaeton. So let's say we use this one. So make sure it doesn't sound too sequenced when you're cutting something like this. Let's say we reuse this one like this. And then just add it as a background layer. So you don't even notice it right away. So something is going on, something is rumbling in the background. So that's our goal. And I think that's it for now. So right now I'm going to finish this beat, mix it, and show the final result in a second. So guys, I've just finished this beat. I think it sounds amazing. I've added some more simple layers. So for example, this roll, which is another snare and a kick. Very, very simple, but for a transition within, for example, the main part of a reggaeton beat, this is also often used. And then I've also, for a bass line, added this pitch down. So the bass is pitching down right here by simply adding a slide note. So simply select this one, slide, and then just draw in a note like this. Very, very easy. So it sounds like this. So not a simple but great idea to add to your reggaeton beat. I've also added some more effects, so some uplifters, some impacts, some downlifters. I've also added a noise sample, but I think that's it so far. So let's listen to the final beat and I hope you enjoy it. Really like this crazy flute. Goes perfect together with the keys. Really grabs the attention of the listener. And also the keys sound beautiful. Added a simple impact. The guitar sounds so powerful, amazing. Also create the switch up when it comes to the bass. Also, this one sounds so clean. So guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to download the free URBANO Producer Bundle. The link will be in the description. I would really appreciate it. And if you're interested in the full bundle, make sure to check it out. The link will also be in the description. So I've put a lot of work in this sample pack to create a pack which is very easy for you to use, especially with all the MIDI files and the just ready to use samples. And as you can hear, I didn't add any tweaking to the samples, and I think it already sounds so good. So again, make sure to check it out. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day, create some awesome beats, and see you in the next video.